Right now, I'm the only one in the game who can actually change the role of other users. So let's go ahead and try to fix that in this video. So basically, we want to enable admins to change the role of users. And what I imagine is that we will go to the users pages. I made this test user. And what we want is to add a small option here that allows admins to actually change the role of a given user. And potentially in the future change other data as well. But for now, we will only allow admins to change the role using the interface. So let's start doing that. I think the first thing we need to do here is to implement some schema for how we change this data. So if we go to the validators folder and we make a new file called user.ts. And what do we need here? We need to import sort for sure. Sort. And I think since we want user roles, we'll implement those user roles or import those user roles from. Can it help me here? Okay, well, I think it's drizzle constants as far as I remember. Yeah, these are the different roles we have in the game. User, moderator, content, event, and admin. And what we then need to do is to create a sort schema for update user schema, let's call it, set object. And basically we only allow to change the role right now. So we can do like this. And then we need a type for this as well. So let's export that, update user schema, set infer. Oh, I think that's the right way. Perfect. So that's one step down. The next thing we need to do, let's make the front end first. That's probably easiest. So if we go to user ID, that's this page. Basically, we want to add another button here. Let's figure out the icon we should use. Right now we have the flag icon, and I guess we want some cog. 6-tooth icon. So I'm just importing icons from this hero icons package. Okay, so this is the icon we want. And I think it's probably best that we make a new React component for this button. So we need an interface. Let's call it edit user component props. Don't know what it takes yet. And then edit user component, not props. Edit user component, and there's a React functional component with that interface. Boom. Good. And this is the one we will insert up here. Let's just, for now, just make the icon return from this one. Let's use the flag. We can do the cog. I already imported it. Cog 6, like this. And then we want it right next to the flag, I imagine. So we already have a div here. Let's do class name next row. Now we just need to include that one. And there we see it. Perfect. And it has a hover effect. I think it needs a little bit of a gap, probably. And none of them actually had this cursor pointer I just saw. So let's add that to both of them. So that looks good. Right now it doesn't do anything, but then we have the visuals. I think for this one it probably needs a confirm page. And we're already using a confirm somewhere. So let's copy this. Basically, it shouldn't just edit anything, but we'll use this modal confirm thing to pop up and then show whatever can be changed. So let's do this. Now we return the confirm component instead, and we put in the cog on the confirm. We remove this stuff. Don't need that. And then it's complaining. What is it complaining about? Probably that. Yeah. Okay, so if we click now, we get this modal, and we'll change this to update user data. And then here we need the form. Let's just put this for now. And I think the blue button actually won't be used, but since this is only seen by admins, we won't do too much about it. Just call it done, and then it's not really doing anything. The done and close button are doing the same thing, but this is not super important for this component. Yeah. Let's just think now. This button, of course, should only be visible for admins. So we go here and we say user data role should be. So we only display this button to admins. And this could be undefined, so we do like that, I think. Yes. And then we need to show the form. So to do that, we probably need to pass down the profile data to the component. So let's do profile. We probably need to pass the refetch profile as well. And then we need to put that into our interface down here. So how do we do that? We do profile, and that would actually be this type. That's all we need. So let's import those. Import type. Almost. Import the type, and I'm guessing we also need the schema. Let's just import it for now, and then we can remove it if not. Why is it complaining? Just needs to update. Okay, so profile, that will be update schema. So now we're getting in at least a row to this component. Then we had refetch profile. That seems about right. It's just does it complain about that? Nope, that's fine. And now it doesn't know we're getting this. We probably need to give it the user ID as well. Let's do that explicitly. User ID string like this. Perfect. And then the next step is actually showing the form, and we have some convenience for that. So if we go right now to game info AI and we edit a given AI, we basically have this component already. So I imagine we can use quite a bit of this. Let's go see how we do that. We're using this edit content component. I think we just need to copy this in here. And then we need to find all the stuff needed for this one. So first we need to import the component. Edit content. That should fix that one. Then we need the insert user. That's the update user schema. That's the one we imported. And then I think here we're using this use AI edit form. So we need to make one of these hooks for a user update as well. So that's basically the function that determines what we show. And I think typically I put these in the libs folder. Libs, and then it would be in profile for this one. So we just copy paste the entire thing right now. And then we say use user edit form. And in this case, we don't want to be editing jutsus for the user. So that one we can remove. And then we have the update user schema. It's the user data that we get. And we need to import that, of course. Let's just, we need to go to the page where we define this. Let's just import all of these. And then we will remove what we are not using. That one is imported twice now. That should clear a lot of these. And then we also need to import our new schemas. So we need to import the update user schema from validators user. It's the one we made, and then update user schema from validators. And I think we can this too much. Then we need to update, we need to use that schema for the form. We need the sort resolver to also use that schema. Update user schema. Processed user, this is something we do for the AIs because we also update their, their jutsus. We don't need to do that here. So we just put in the user directly, I think. We don't need to do this. This is the backend endpoint for updating the user. And we will use one called update user instead. We need to implement that for this to be working. Yeah, let's just wait with that so it doesn't complain too much. But for sure it will be called update user instead of update AI. We will call update user. Oh, and then we won't have the user ID, so we will have to take in the user ID here as a string in this method. And then we will have it here instead. We won't be changing people's avatars. We only have one loading now. So change that and change this. And then we need to update that schema. We don't do jutsus, and we can remove pretty much all of these. I don't think any of these we want to allow admins to change them right now. Nope. We'll just do one for now. The role that has been requested several times, and I've been too lazy to get this done. So we remove all of that, and we don't have a process user, we just have user. And user roles we need to import instead of user ranks. User jutsu we're not using. And now it's just complaining that this data we're giving it doesn't match that endpoint, which is because it's the update AI endpoint instead of an update user endpoint. So I guess the next thing we should do, should we implement the backend endpoint first or link this stuff up? Maybe we should go implement this update user. and then we close a bit of this so it doesn't become too messy. And then we have 3 files and we changed 3 files. So let's go implement the backend mutation for updating a user. So we go over to profile, routers, should probably still be here. And let's initially just copy the update AI one. And rename it to update user. Update user. And we need to import those schemas again. Update user schemas. This is becoming a big file. I think we can clean this up a bit. It seems a bit messy. Anyways, update user schema. That's the input data coming in here. And then let's do it like this. So first we do some queries. We fetch the user that is doing the mutation. So this should be the admin. And then the target, which is the user we want to change. Then let's do guards here. Instead, I don't like the way I've done it for the update AI, so let's maybe also update that one afterwards. But yeah, if the target doesn't exist, user is not found. If user role isn't admin, then I don't think we should be allowed to do this. I think it should only be admins doing this stuff. Not allowed to edit user. That's perfect. That means this check can go away. And we should really update the update AI as well. I hope we remember to do that. Okay, then all this stuff for updating the jutsus we can remove because we're not doing that for users, at least for now. And scaling the AI stats also not for now. This part is basically where we figure out what's the difference between what we had and what we are getting. And I think we still want that. But let's just remove this jutsu thing again. And then figure out how we calculate this update. That is quite easy since we only have the role, but it could be in the future we will have more. So let's do it in some clever way instead of just putting in the what we know. So the new AI or the new data, that will just be the input data. And then this should be the previous data. And let's see if we can use Copilot to calculate. Set the previous values to be an object with all the keys found in input data from target. Let's see if we can do this. Conscript from entries. Then what is it doing? It's basically converting our target object to entries. That makes sense. And then we filter through the keys, and if the keys are in input data, we include the object and convert it back from entries. That makes sense. So I think that's actually the right way to do this. Then we get the previous. Yeah. I'm happy that worked. That was fast. Perfect. And then we need to run our update in the database. So this one we don't need anymore. This one we don't need anymore. These two we can run in parallel. So we can do promise to all. Take one query. And the other one, there's no reason to do these sequentially. And then we're not doing insert AI, we have to do the input data just. So we're updating the role for the input ID. So basically, yeah, that's right. That's the target ID. Let's make this more clear. Let's do it like this: target user ID. And then we are updating the log, which is good. We'll call this a user update. We have a div. The related ID is the target user ID. The related message is the target username is updated. And the avatar of that user being updated, that's fine as well. And then because we stole this from Update AI, we have this Discord content updater. We don't need that for a user update. So this is actually good. And we are preventing anyone but admins for doing this. And we're putting in a log. What's it complaining about here? Just hasn't updated. That's fine. So let's go back to the place where we're using it. And it's complaining a lot. Why is it complaining that much? Let's try restarting ESLint and TypeScript. It seems like it might be happy now. Seems good. So this one seems to be going through. And then we can go back to where we need to use that. So basically this is the front-end component we were at. Let's just change the front-end back to this page. Can't resolve this. I think we just called it user maybe. Is that why? Yeah, so now it's a new error. That's fine. Now we need to import this guy on the front-end component. From and then we need to use it in the same way we did for the AI edit page. So basically we use it like this. And we do it in our confirm component here. Say use user edit. Did we import it? Yep. And here we need to input the right parameters. So the component was taking our three inputs. Let's just destructure those. The user ID profile like this. And those are basically the three parameters we needed to pass to this one as well. Processed user, we called it user, what was returned? And it's giving lots of errors. Let's just restart ESLint again. There we go. And we forgot to input props here. So this is a string and it seems to be progressing. Then we need current values from that form. So I know this seems a little bit complicated. If you sit down with the code, it starts to make sense. This use user edit form is basically just a convenience method for getting all that form data and the user and stuff like this. And then it also allows us to do stuff like multi-user editing if we wanted to do that in the future. That's the whole reason I made these methods. But for now, I think it's good. Let's remove those as we're not using them. And all the errors disappeared. So let's see. And it seems like we have a form now at least. So right now this test user is an event row. Okay, let's just think. Now we're showing the form, we have given it all the things required by this component, and that is one is happy. we don't have any errors here. And this is basically defining where to send the mutation and to refetch it. If it succeeds, it has the update handler and it defines the entries. And we have the endpoint. Okay, let's try if it works then. Let's make this person a constant instead. Good. Seems to work. And what else do we need? Let me just pull this up quick. I think we need to let the admins see the log as well. So how do we do that? Because once people have changed stuff, we should be able to see it. So right now we have this in game info logs. We can see all the stuff that has changed for AI due to bloodline and item, and I think we can just put users in there because it kind of makes, we don't really want to hide from anyone what's going on here. So let's do that. On our log router, we just put in user. So we want to be able to see users as well. And then I guess we have a logs page as well. This one, where we also want to be able to select user. It popped up there. And we go to user. Nothing is showing up in there, even though we did. Let's just try again. If I go in here and I change this guy from constant to moderator, push save, done. We go in here, we see whether it pops up, refresh. Yeah, so now we see the log of all the users that were changed in the content log, and everybody can see it. I think that's fine. And nothing is hidden. That's good. Perfect. Finally got around to implementing this feature. Let's just clean up that update AI router as well, because I didn't quite like how that looked compared to the update user. So this one, I think we should do it in the same way, where first we do queries, then we do some guards. So if we say if AI is not set, AI not found. If AI is AI, if it's not an AI, or you cannot, the user doesn't have permission to change the AI, then please give a reasonable, not allowed to edit AI. And then we can remove this if statement, because it's a bit messy to have to go all the way down here to see what the error message is for whatever check you made up there. And then also this one, we can run that in parallel instead of doing the queries sequentially. This. And the same for our updates to the database. Let's also do them in parallel. Let's start all. So it's not just about speed, it's also about being able to see that these are not dependent on each other for me. Cool, so we optimize that a little bit as well, and everything is a little bit more consistent. So great, finally that feature is implemented. Thank you guys for watching, and see you in the next video.